Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome back. If you are a returning supporter, I'm here to give you the disclaimers for this here live. Listen, I do not tolerate disrespect. That's in any way, shape, form, or fashion, whether it's towards me, towards anyone that appears on the screen, towards anyone that appears in the chat. If you have not decided to be a better person, most people will tell you to leave, but I'm going to tell you to stick around because maybe something that is said today will encourage you to do so. Now, I am not a mental health professional. I am just one woman willing to share my personal experiences to let you know two things. One, you are not alone, regardless of how much you feel like you are alone, how many times you have felt that, you are not alone. And number two, you can overcome anything that life throws at you. There will be curse words, there will possibly be tears, but knowing me, it probably will be. And my opinions are my opinions. Your opinions are your opinions. We are here to have a nurturing conversations in regards to our opinions so that we will have a better understanding of each other. That's all I got for right now. I hope that you enjoy this nurturing conversation. Let's get to it. Wait. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button that helps me say suggested on YouTube. Make sure that you type in the chat, also leave a comment, and share it with your friends. That's all I got. Let's get into this conversation. I love you. Peace.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. Welcome. I'm sorry, y'all. I had trying to get it all together, get back in the groove of it. Welcome to Nurturing Conversations podcast. I am your host, Chelle. I hope that you guys can hear me. I see it going across. Um, Today's conversation is going to be a personal one. I think all of them, not think, all of them have been personal conversations. Today's conversation is going to be surrounding the journey of healing and self discovery. I gave a disclaimer. In the disclaimer, I'm going to give it again. There will be tears in this conversation. There will be tears. These last 4 years have been a tremendous experience for me, and I want to share it with you just in case you are on the journey or you are embarking on the journey or you're considering embarking on the journey. Today we're going to talk about the journey of healing and self-discovery. If you're new here, I'm Chelle, also known as Shelle's Closet, also known as Midwsthumnbrd, also known as a lot of things to a lot of people. 4 years ago, I decided to go on a journey of healing and self-discovery. Now, let me set the scene for you, right? I'm getting ready to turn 40. I'm like, oh, I got to do something different with my life because while my life has been amazing, there have been some highs and some lows of the lows. And I just wanted to be free. I wanted to be free of everything that I had experienced in my past. And I said, I'm going to go on this journey of healing and self-discovery. Now, when I said it, I was like, yeah, I'm a forgive people. I know I'm going to cry. I know I'm going to be angry. Like that's what I thought was going to happen. Like that's how I thought it was going to go. Throw all of that out the window. It was a no. Now I had already been going to therapy since like my 20s. So I've been to regular sit on the couch therapy. I went through art therapy. I went through a lot of therapies, but the therapy that worked for me was EDMR. I don't know what that actually means. Never did. I didn't even think to look in it because I didn't think it was going to work, but it worked for me. EDMR is where you sit in front of a bar that look like the Night Rider lights and they go back and forth. Anyways, so in therapy, I began to like bring up things, talk about things that I hadn't talked about in forever. So I'm getting ready to cross into 40 and I'm like, I want to do something different. I had experienced a really bad breakup. There was a lot of things surrounding it all over the internet. And at the time, I was fresh. Like, I don't want to live the rest of my life in this mindset. I want to be light, love, and positivity. I am that regularly, but I'm on a whole nother level now. I want to be light, love, and positivity. And in order to do that, like we all have like a closet in the back of our head. I said closet, it could be a mall room, whatever you want to call it. But in the back of our head where we just throw things and it's like, you know what? Somebody lied on me. I'm going to throw that in the back of my head. You know what? My mama said she was going to buy me some new Jordans and she didn't. So I'm going to throw that in the back of my head. But what you don't realize is when you throw it back there, it like sits. It like sits and start attaching to other things. And then it starts to grow. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going on this journey of healing and self-discovery. And so to like fully like cleanse, I started juicing, right? So I started juicing. I had to struggle with juicing and dieting and working out because that wasn't my thing. It wasn't my thing. Like I didn't feel like I had any issues. I was healthy outside of fibromyalgia. I was healthy. I was good. And so I was like, let me start. I want to really cleanse. I stopped talking to certain people. I stopped listening. I stopped even looking at stuff on social media. I was just real life. I started meditating. I started doing yoga. No clue what was going to happen to me over the next couple of years. No clue. So I'm moseying down the journey, on the journey of healing and self-discovery. Now I knew from therapy that things may come up. There's things like triggers. I knew that things would come up, but I figured I had already lived them. So I'm going to be okay when they come up. I had already sort of kind of processed them. So I was going to be okay. So I'm going down this journey. And one random day, so it was a random day. I'm in the shower. You in the shower, you're singing. I'm not going to get too much information, but I was in the shower and then I just started bawling, like seriously crying in the shower. I had no idea why I was crying at first. And then it was like, I felt like I was transported to 8-year-old me. Like I say 8-year-old me, 8 years old was when my life like did a whole, whatever you want to call it. It was when it switched for me. So I was transported back. I told you I was going to be tears. It's okay. I'm good. I'm just telling y'all the story. I was transported back to 8-year-old me, and I heard me, like adult me, tell 8-year-old me, I'm sorry. And when I said I'm sorry, I'm now lying on the floor of the bathtub floor, and I'm bawling even harder, and I'm balled up in the fetal position, and I'm just crying. I felt like I cried every tear I should have cried from 8 all the way up until I was crying. I was bawling. I was crying. And then when I said I was sorry, it was like something just like a layer just came off of me. Now, it was an experience. I'm going on a journey. I'm going to take y'all on my journey of healing and self-discovery. If you would like to, feel free to share your journey in the chat. But like I said in the disclaimer, I'm sharing this because maybe you are right there and you're like, I don't know if I'm ready to do this. I kept telling myself the entire time, everything that I need to be successful was already put in me the day that I was born, right? But I knew the things that I went through in my life, that there were things that I was going to have to rid myself of. When I was 8 years old, I was molested. And at that age, you don't know. You don't know a lot of stuff because people don't talk to you about a lot of stuff. So you just, okay, I'm going to throw it in the back of my head. It was just, that's what it was for me. So when I apologized to myself, a layer fell off. And so I thought, this journey of healing self-discovery it's gonna be a breeze. It's gonna be a breeze. So, I wiped my tears. I got out the shower, sat down on the bed. I started bawling again. And I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. I knew it was gonna be some tears, but I didn't. I mean, like when I say bawling, I mean like the ugly cry with the snot bubbles and everything, y'all. I had unlocked 8-year-old me, and all the stuff that I had threw in the back of my head was just like, it's time. We gotta is I gotta deal with it one thing at a time. So I literally walked from 8, um, every experience that I had, and I just it was like at first it was overwhelming because I wasn't prepared. You know, like I said, I was prepared to cry. I'm a Cancer, so of course I cry. I was prepared to cry, but all of the other emotions I was not prepared for. I was not prepared for. So when I went to each experience, it's like life literally took me to each experience, and I started to have panic attacks. And my 8-year-old self said to the grown me, "You are okay because we already lived through this. We just want to show you that you are good." Whew. We want to show you that you are good, and how strong you are and how you have overcome. And you have the negative aspects of these things. And I'm not going to say there's positive aspects of being sexually assaulted or anything like that, but it wanted to show me. It wanted to show me, the good things of me, the things that I had overlooked because I was so bogged down by the things that happened to me. So I'm going on this journey. I'm crying. It seemed like every day, second, minute, the wind blow, and I'm crying. And I'm just like, I signed up for this. And I told myself, whatever I have to do to get rid of all of that, I need to do it. Because I'm 40 years old. I done carried that from 8 all the way up until now. So I'm going through the motions. I'm looking at the events, and like I'm not there. I am not there. I am shaking as though I am there. Like I'm reliving these experiences. I am shaking. I am crying. I am shaking. And my 8-year-old self is telling me that I'm okay. And it took me a minute. It took me a minute because when those things happen, you just throw them in the back of your head. And it's like the emotions and everything that happen with it get thrown back there too. But we don't realize it at that time because you're just like, whatever. So I'm going through all of the emotions. I don't know if y'all checked out my YouTube video last week when I said feel, heal, and grow. What I learned on this journey is you have to feel. You can't like not feel. You have to feel. That's what makes you human. That's what makes you move through it, not around it, not over it, not past it, but move through it. It takes going through it so that you can look back and be like, yeah, ain't nothing. There's nothing that you can do to me, nothing that you could say to me, nothing that you could throw at me where to be like, oh my God, I can't do this because I done came from 8 to 43 right now. So stick with me, y'all. So I'm going through these things. And so I always been a person that asked a lot of questions. I grew up in a family that communicates. They ask questions about everything. They gave me the permission to ask questions. Now, having said that, when I would go to church, I grew up in church. I would go to church. I would ask questions. I didn't understand a lot of the stuff because it just didn't make sense to me. I know people be like, well, you're trying to think logically. And I'm like, well, it just didn't make sense to me. So it was that, right? And so then I'm here trying to like move through life, but I have been, a part of me is dead because it was, my innocence was stolen. So a part of me is dead and I'm just operating. I mean, I went from like 8 to, I want to say adult in like no time. Like my mind, 8 to adult. I was like lost. I was just out here in the wilderness of life. And so I tried to date. I tried to do, the normal, like I'm not at 8. I'm like in my teenage years now. But it didn't, I just became a hermit. I remember when I got a little older and I told people and I was like, hey, this happened to me. And In my mind, you know, in your mind, you have this idea like, oh, I'm going to tell somebody and they're going to do something. They're going to do something. And so I was not excited, but I was like, oh, I could tell somebody and somebody would get them. You know, like I'm going to tell and somebody going to get them. And then I started telling people that I thought would actually do something. That it happened. And it happened. I got asked questions as to why it would happen or what did I do to make it happen. And for me, I'm young. I couldn't understand. I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't do nothing to make this person do this to me. Like, I don't even want that. I didn't even know. Right? And I'm saying this because I'm sure I should have grabbed some tissue. I'm saying this because I'm sure you've heard somebody has something happen to them, and your first question or your first thing, don't ask that fucking question. I gave a disclaimer that there's going to be cuss words because there is. Don't ask that fucking question. That's why I wish we would go back to being humans where we would have compassion for other people. No, you may not know what it's like to have someone steal your innocence, but have enough fucking compassion to not ask why you. It wasn't like I was just like, ooh, me, choose me. No. That happened to me. So I told, and it seemed like when I told, like this person just had so much control over everything that it was just like, what the fuck am I talking for? So I had to be like 12 or 13. I literally stopped talking. Like literally, like not a word did I say for like 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years. It seemed like forever for me. I did not speak. I did not talk to anybody. I felt, what was the point if I'm telling you something really bad is happening to me and no one is doing anything? So I'm just like, okay, I don't know. I don't know. And then I get to 14. At this point in my life, I just didn't care. I didn't care about anything. I didn't care. I think I had started drinking alcohol, and I'm not laughing because it's nervous laughter. I started drinking alcohol, and I don't mean like beer or fruity drinks. I mean like Jack Daniels, Paul Masson, like the darker the better. That was my drink, straight, no chaser, right? And so, you know how people be like, oh, New Year's resolutions and stuff like that, right? I kid you not, I did not see my life going past 14. Didn't even think about it, didn't have plans, wasn't looking forward to being grown, none of that. None of that. Every day after 14, I was just like, one day became my new thing. One day I ain't gonna have to live in a situation like this. One day I'm gonna be better. I ain't gonna have this feeling. One day is that was my one day. So I continued on, still going to church. And one day I was sitting in church. I'm like 17, 18. No, I was like 19. May 23rd, 1999. I will forever remember that date. I was in church. I had just sung, I feel like going on. I feel like going on. Said my little testimony. Got up to go to the bathroom. I don't really remember what happened after that. I mean, I remember going up the first flight of stairs, and then I remember like opening my eyes and everybody around me was like panicking and crying and like, we gotta get her. And I'm like, what's going on? And they lifted me up and they taking me to the hospital. And the lady is like, smile. Now, y'all can see I got dimples, right? So I'm like, I'm smiling in my mind. I am smiling. I am smiling and I'm looking at everybody around me like, what the fuck is going on? Why is y'all crying? What happened? What's going on? I didn't know it was me that something was going on with. So we at the hospital, they talking, they bring in these people with full white uniforms. Now I don't watch a lot of movies, so I know what the white uniforms mean. So they like, if she don't start talking, I'm like, I'm literally in my mind. I hear my own voice. I'm talking to them, right? So they're like, if she don't start talking, if she don't start responding, we feel like, and then they're like, well, she had a brain attack, which was a stroke and a nervous breakdown at the same time. So I could not walk, I could not talk. And so I'm like motioning, like trying to motion. I'm trying to motion. And so then my sister grabs a pen and some paper, and so I just scribbled across the paper. They said if I ain't talk or something, I scribbled across the paper, and I'm like, I'm okay. And they looking at me like, you're not okay because you're not talking. But in my mind, I thought I was okay. I didn't know that I wasn't speaking. I didn't know that I couldn't move my body. I didn't know that because I'm in my mind. I'm trapped there. So, of course, they let me go home I fought. I'm a fighter. I fought. They let me go home and I was surrounded by people. And so they're like, she's not going to regain the ability to walk and talk. She'll probably be like this. Anybody that have a stroke, like you're affected. So I was like, in my mind, like, I'm about to be 19 next month. Who they telling not gonna walk? You mean tell me I'm not gonna play basketball no more? I'm not gonna be able to sing. I'm not gonna be. So I went through the whole thing of that. I'm telling you on my journey. I went through the whole thing of that. And so then one day, I was just like, I don't know why people feel like they could tell me what I can and cannot do. I think the stubborn part of me is it's how I got to 43. I kid you not. I'm thinking about it now. I'm processing it right now. It's the stubborn part of me. So I got up and I was like, how they gonna tell me I can't walk? So they had gave me a walker. I was 18 years old, y'all. I had a walker. I had a whole old people walker with the tennis balls and everything. So I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. I get up and I start walking. And I ain't tell anybody I could walk, but I started walking because I was like, I don't know who the fuck they think they talking to. They don't know me. They don't know me. So I started walking. We go to a doctor's appointment and I'm like, I can walk. I said in my head I can walk because of course I still couldn't talk at this time, but I'm scribbling like, and it was like, do the whole stand up and walk. And then I just stood up and walked without the walker, but my right side was drawn up, right? So I'm dragging my right side. My left side was moving. I got the movement back with my left side. And my right side was, I was dragging or whatever. And so then that's when I went to art therapy. And I'm not talking at art therapy. And I meet this lady and she teaches me about Deirdre Clark. I will never forget this lady name. She teaches me about energy. She taught me about energy. And she taught me how to read people's energy. I learned so much stuff, right? And so she said, I see here you're a singer. And I was like, mm-hmm. Of course, there's nothing coming out because I couldn't talk. I didn't understand how it all happened, but I literally could not sing, talk, or nothing. And she's like, if you're a singer, you should be able to sing something. And I was like, huh? She's like, you should be able to sing something. And so I just practiced. I practiced. And one day I was in the bathroom and I started singing His Eye is on the Sparrow. And I sung it with no word, no mess up or nothing. I just sung the song. And I was just like, what the fuck just happened? Because I tried to speak and my mouth, nothing came out. It was nothing. When I told y'all is the most amazing experience. I had some experiences in my life. So I'm gonna take y'all along the journey. I go back to art therapy and I'm like, I'm excited. She's like, okay. And then I started singing and every word came out. There was no stutter or nothing, right? She said, now if you can sing, you can talk. And in my mind, I'm like, what the fuck is this lady talking about? I've been trying to talk for I don't know how long. How does it work? And so she's telling me about the energies. She's talking about the energies. She's talking to me about positive thoughts and all of these things. And I didn't know then. I didn't know then what I know now. But way over there, it was implanted into me about positive thoughts and thinking positively, right? So I go home and I'm like, she said I could talk, so I should be able to talk. So I started talking. But I had a real bad stutter. I still got it. She just taught me how to speak fastly. So then I would like, it's something that happens with me where I don't hear myself stuttering, but I feel it. I don't know if you ever known somebody that stutter and they do that, like they take a extra breath, or now y'all gonna be paying attention to people, but they take an extra breath or they speak slowly. It sounds fast to you, but they speak slowly so that the words are enunciated and it comes out. So I went to therapy. I'm good. Um, I'm It's my 26th birthday. I'm skipping because after 18, I went to college. I struggled through college. And I struggled because I'm fine. I'm a beautiful woman, right? And I struggled because people liked me, and I hadn't dealt with the shit that had happened to me before. I hadn't dealt with it. I just was like, people, sex, all those things made me uncomfortable. So I just stayed away from it. Like it, I don't gotta deal with it. I'm good. I'm good. So 26. I'm in Las Vegas for my 26th birthday, and I'm in a hotel room, and I was like, I gotta get away from the cult. I called the church I grew up in a cult because to me it was like a cult. I know other people have other opinions, and I'm not knocking you for your opinion, so please don't knock me for mine. But I can't make you do anything. I felt like it was a cult to me, and I was like, I gotta get out. So, I enjoyed the rest of my vacation, and I worked on a plan to get out. And so I decided to move to another city. I wasn't going to church anymore. But while I'm saying that, I'm going to say this right. When I was being abused sexually, um, I would offer myself up so that the other young ladies wouldn't have to experience what I experienced. That's the second time in my life that I actually said that out loud. Actually, it's the third time because I just. In my mind, I thought I was saving them. I didn't know that I was causing myself. I just didn't want them to have to feel what I felt or go through the things that I went through. So I thought I was saving them. And it wasn't until I went to EDMR therapy that I realized that I wasn't saving them. I was harming me. And I devised a plan. Unfortunately, one of my childhood friends had passed away. And that for me was like, I really have to do this. If I plan to live a better life, I have to do this. And so her funeral was a Saturday, I believe. That next Sunday, I go and I say, I'm no longer going to be a member here. There's no hard feelings. I guess I should say I was molested by the pastor of the church. 15 years ago, I walked out of that church and never looked back, never went back. I left there, and the pastor called around to other churches that he thought I would go to and gave a big story. Now, mind y'all, I ain't said nothing since I was like 12 or 13 to anybody. I haven't said anything to anybody. I was just rocking out with it the way that it was. I didn't tell anybody anything, right? So I go to the new church that I wasn't planning to become a member. I just needed to be in a safe space. Just a safe space where I could just go and just be safe. Just be safe. So I go to this other church, and he had already called over there and told them that I was going to say stuff, told them what I was going to say and how I was going to say it. And so when I walked in, they called me in the office, and when I walked in the office, the lady looked at me. And I already knew what had happened because I had watched it happen way before it even got to me. I watched it. I watched it happen before it got to me, so I already knew. And so she was like, this is what I was told. And I just was like, still didn't say not a word, didn't say nothing, because I just wanted to be in a space where I could just think and I could just figure it out. Because at this point, it's like, I'm over church. I'm over church people. I'm over everything, but I'm here because I feel safe here. So I'm in there, and they wasn't trying to get me to join. They just let me be. They loved on me. They loved on me, and they just let me be. And for me, that was a part of my journey that I didn't realize at the time, but it was necessary. Because I had lost hope. Y'all. I ain't going to sit here and act like I didn't. I had lost hope. Like, how do you be molested by the pastor of the church and you just like, people used to ask me like, hey, did you stop believing in God, or you feel the way you feel because of that? No, I already had questions before. I ain't going to say it didn't assist. It assisted a little bit, but not a lot. So then I just like removed myself from there, and I just began to literally walk the road of healing and self-discovery. And I started addressing everything. And one day I woke up and I was like, I need to talk to my parents. So my father had never been around. He had never been around, but I knew that I needed to talk to him. So the first conversation I had was with my mother, because as I was growing up, I felt rejected. I felt that my parents rejected me. I knew that they loved me, or I believed that they loved me, but I felt like they rejected me. Like they didn't protect me. They didn't do shit, pretty much. They didn't. I was just out here. And I felt like the people that did love me, they died when I was younger. So I was just out here living. So I went and I sat down and I talked to my mother. And I told her how I felt. And I told her what I thought. And I began to understand who she was and the things that she experienced. And all that anger and bitterness and hatred that I had, because I felt she didn't do her job as a mother. All of that just started to, like, the layers just started to peel off. It was layers to that. And it just started to peel off. And I just looked at her differently. Like, oh my God, you are a human. I know my mom is a human, but it was like it humanized her to me. So I'm waiting. I'm like, I'm gonna find my father. I'm gonna find him. Like, I know he's in the same state as me. I'm gonna find him. And then 2021, I went through all of my life. If you haven't heard my story, it's on my YouTube. Subscribe. My father comes into my life. Um, and so I sit down and I'm like, listen, um, I just want to talk to you. I felt like, I'm your daughter. You haven't really been involved. You haven't really been there. You missed all of everything. And so my father acknowledges what I said, received what I said, and he said, um, now let me tell you about me. And I was like, okay, cool. I still got that little whatever. But he started to tell me about me, and he said, 2 years before you were born, you had a sister. Now I knew I had a sister. I heard, they told me the story about her. But I had never heard it the way my father had said it. So my father said, 2 years before you were born, you had a sister, and she passed away. And no one talked to me about grief. Like, no one asked me how I was doing, how I was dealing with it, or whatever. And I know that somebody here gonna be like, well, he should have. At the same time, he is a human being, and I totally understood what he said, because it took me going to therapy to understand that there is different levels to grief. I'm gonna talk to you about that in just a minute. So he said that, and he like choked up, and I lost it, y'all. I lost it. This man ain't been in my life my entire life, and here he is sitting on my couch telling me the real. And then he was like, I know I can't make up for before. And I was like, we don't even got to worry about that, because we're going to start from right now. And he looked at me, and his eyes just got watery, and I was just like, we going to start from right now. Like, we don't even got to do all of that. All that hatred and anger and bitterness, I carried that around for so long, but it took a conversation with my mother and my father for me to feel layers. I'm telling y'all, I took off layers. And from that day until the day, 2 days before he died, he was either on my way to on his way to my house, or I was on my way to his house. He cooking, we just turning up, having a good time. And then before he died, he came and sat on my couch, and he said, I want to tell you that I have stage 4 cancer, prostate cancer. I felt that anger come up a little bit more. And I was like, how the fuck do I finally get you to be in my life? You finally get to come and hang out with me. I'm spending time with you, and we laughing and joking, and we getting to know each other better. And now, cancer. So whenever he called and whenever he wanted to come by, come on, I'm going to go to your house. He cooking, he laughing, he joke. It's the most wonderful thing ever. Ever. It was like the man had never been out of my life ever. It was the most amazing experience. It made me feel so loved. 2021, I lost my father to cancer. It's a pretty rough time for me. 2020, I just had a major breakup. 2021, my father passed away. February, 2021, we're in 2022. It's New Year's resolutions. New me, new year, new me. This is 2 years into the journey of healing and self-discovery. February, I get a call, and they like, hey, something is going on with your mom. Like, she's having everybody look for her keys, but her keys are around her neck. And I'm like, where y'all at right now? Because I'm about to come to y'all. So I pull up in front of my mom's house, and she pull up, and she's talking to me, but she looks different. If you know your parents, you know something about that. She looked different. I said, please get in the car. I'm going to take you somewhere. She knew who I was. She knew who I was, and she knew who my niece Kira was. And she's like, they trying to make it seem like I'm crazy. I know I brought my keys, and I'm looking, her keys is still on her neck. The same place they said her keys is still on her neck. So I take her to the hospital, and they say that she's had stroke. She's having multiple strokes. And I just looking, it was like, because my brothers, this is no knock to my brothers, but my brothers was like, oh, she just needs to go in there and lay down. But something was telling me she don't need to do that. So I took her to the hospital. And so they're like, she has some complications because of all of the strokes. And so I'm looking at my mother and I was just like, I don't know, a part of me was just like, I am so grateful that I let go of the anger and the hatred and the bitterness. I'm so grateful that I can see you. I can see you as a human being. I can see you, and I'm looking at you right now. Like I told this before, I was like, my mother is the strongest person I know. It's something when you see the strongest person in the world to you laying in the bed and you can't help them. I felt helpless. Helpless. I felt helpless. And I'm looking at her, and now it's like, now I'm a power of attorney, and I got a doctor visits and all of these different things. And so I'm looking like, oh my God, like we was just laughing and joking, celebrating the new year. And now it's like, we almost lost you. That's 2022. Still on my journey of healing and self-discovery, still juicing, still meditating, doing yoga, still everything. I'm light, love, and positivity. I made it my business. When I would feel myself, you ever wake up and just like, you feel not well, you feel like you want to cuss somebody out today, or you just got that feeling? If I woke up with that feeling, I rolled over, put the cover over my head, and hit snooze on my alarm. I'm not getting up. I'm not starting my day like that. So we get my mom all situated and everything, and I'm, still going about life, meditating. I'm positive affirmations to myself. I'm manifesting. I'm doing all of that. I have crystals. I'm doing everything. Like, life is good. I'm on the road. I'm doing a journey of healing and self-discovery. I'm telling everybody I'm excited, right? And then I'm working out, but I'm like, wait, I'm not eating nothing. I'm just juicing. So I noticed that my stomach starts to expand. Now, I had never been bloated before ever in my life, or maybe I was and I didn't really know, but I was telling people like, yeah, I'm bloated, right? Because my stomach had expanded so far, and I was like, wait a minute. In my mind, I'm like, wait a minute, something is going on. But in reality, I was like, oh, I'm just drinking juice. I mean, I don't know why it would be getting big. I'm talking to myself, having these conversations. So I go to my brother's house and I fall down like five. Just five. Not five big stairs, just five stairs that is close together. I hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stairs. I hit my back on one stair. I hit my gluteus maximus and my thighs on the other stairs, right? So why I didn't think to go to the doctor that day, I don't know. I just was like, you know what? I'm going to sit here for a minute. I'm going to get up. I'm going to be fine. The next day, my stomach was hurting really, really bad. And I'm just like, oh, I'm going to just lay down. I'm going to just, lay down. It's going to be gone. I'm not eating nothing. I'm not juicing. I'm not going to drink a juice today. I'm just going to drink water. It'll be gone. So I woke up the next day. Stomach still hurting. I was like, you know what? If it don't feel better in the morning, I'm going to go to the urgent care. I don't know how I made it to that next morning, but that next morning came. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go over to the urgent care. So I drove myself to the urgent care. I was like, I just fell down 5 stairs. And I'm just 5 stairs. I don't know why the number was significant to me, but I just fell down 5 stairs. So, they do a whole workup. And she like, you just fell down 5 stairs? She said, did you hit anything else? Did you hit your stomach? I was like, no, I just hit my ribs and I hit my butt and my thighs. And she's like, I need you to go over to the emergency room. Nah, at this point, I'm a little shaking in my boots because I'm like, wait, what? I just came here because I thought she was going to be like, oh, you got a bruised rib or something and you got bruises. She said, no, I need you to go to the emergency room. Like, how did you get here? I said, I drove. She's like, no, you need to go over to the emergency room. So I called and I was like, hey, I need somebody to take me to the emergency room. So my little brother come And I tell my little brother, don't tell our mother that I am going to the emergency room because I'm going to be there to make sure that she good. She got her medicine. I'm going to make sure, right? I go to the emergency room. They put me in a room, and I'm just thinking, like, I don't even know what I was thinking. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Um, they come back. They do a CAT scan. Are you allergic to any medicines? I'm telling them, my whole workup. Do the CAT scan. Come back in the room. The lady say, Miss White, you are hemorrhaging. I said, wait, what? She said, yeah, you are hemorrhaging. You have a mass growing on the inside of you. And she said, your cancer antigens. And when she said cancer, I kid y'all not. Y'all probably heard people say it just went womp womp. Like when she said cancer, that lady mouth was moving, but my ears just shut off. I didn't hear nothing else she said after that. And then she's like, do you need a minute? I said, yes, ma'am, I do. Because my mother, she's like, weren't you just here? I said, yes, my mother was literally just here a week ago. Like literally, she just got released a week ago. So I'm sitting there and I was like, okay, my ears came back on and I was just like, wait, okay. She didn't say cancer. So again, she repeated, she said your cancer antigens are supposed to be like 0 point something and mine was 273.69. I didn't even know they had a test for cancer. Anyways, so she's like, we need to rush you to Freighter. And I said, no, 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 no. I'm going to tell y'all, this is where I was at. I was like, no, 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 you can't do that because I told my mama that I was going to be home because my mother just got released last week. And they was like, well, Miss White, we can't let you go because you're hemorrhaging. And I'm sitting here looking like, nah, y'all got to let me up out of here because I got to go take care of my mother. The reality of the situation had not dawned on me just yet. So I'm like, okay, I call my little brother again. Don't tell that I'm in the emergency room now and I have to stay overnight. So if she asks you, just don't tell her. Don't say nothing. Little brothers, they can't. He done told the lady I done went to the urgent care and now I'm now in the ER and she worried. She got all that's going on with her. Now she worried and I'm just like, oh my God. So the next morning they come back and they say the hemorrhaging has stopped, but now the mass has grown even more. It has pushed all of my major organs over to the left side. I have to be rushed, like flown to Freighter. And I'm looking like, I don't understand what is going on. Like, what are you telling me? And she's like, your cancer antigens are high. You need to go to Freighter Cancer Center. Like they sent me a whole bunch of places. So I'm like, I will go. I will take myself there. If you guys just let me go home so I can make sure that my mother is good. Do you see what I'm not even thinking about myself here. I'm still thinking about other people. Let me go. I'm going to go home, make sure my mother gets good, and then I'll go over to the Freighter Cancer Center, right? Now, I don't know. I don't know if my mind just didn't register what the lady said, but it wasn't until I walked through those doors of the cancer center and I started seeing other people who had cancer. And then I hit that corner where the people go in there to go to chemotherapy. That shit set in real fast. The shit set in so fast. I just said, whoa, like I'm really here at the cancer center. I'm really here. And so I go in and I'm talking to the lady and she was like, yeah, well, we need to do more tests and what are treatment options are you going to do? I looked at that lady. I said, I'm going to smoke so much weed. I'm going out. If I go out, I'm going out high. I'm not doing no radiation. I'm not doing chemo. I'm not doing none of that stuff. I'm going to go, somebody going to give me some strong and I'm just going to smoke I'm over it. It's a no. It's a no for me. And she's like, well, we have to remove the mass because it is now entangled in all of your woman parts and it has moved all of your organs over to the left. And she's like, the discomfort you feel is because it is growing And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be good. It still didn't register till that lady said, listen, we need to figure out a plan. I know that you said you're going to smoke, but we need to figure out a plan of how we're going to get you back healthy. I said, what you mean healthy? I am healthy. She said, ma'am. And so then I had to, it, it, it dawned on me. It was like, I had to have a major surgery. I was not understanding that at all. I was not processing that until I got ready to walk back around the corner and saw those people, and I was just like, "Oh, cancer ain't gonna fucking get me. It ain't getting me, not at all." I do. In my life, they done told me I had ovarian cancer. They done told me I had breast cancer, and none of those cancers checked out. So I'm gonna just say that none of those cancers checked out. I wait a little minute, and do my breath work and all of that stuff and go back, and it's like, oh, we don't see anything. Okay, cool. This one gonna be just like all the other times, cause I ain't going. So March, that was February. So March 18th, 2022, I had to have a surgery. Now I don't know if y'all like me, but I knew that I couldn't tell everybody around me, because not everybody around me is strong. I'm not saying that like they weak. I'm just saying like I didn't want to tell people where they be crying and then they have me like thinking like, okay, something gonna happen to me. I told the people that I knew was strong around me, that was gonna be like, you know what, you got this. Like they was gonna be in my ear giving me that light, love, and positivity. So I told them. I didn't tell anybody else. I told them. Of course, I had to tell my mother, because I'm the only girl, and I'm the oldest, and I'm the only girl. So I had to tell her. I wasn't trying to tell her to. So of course she was there, and my brother was there, and I found this song. I hadn't listened to gospel music in I don't know how long, but I found this song. It's Molly Music and Jonathan McReynolds, and it's called Miracle. I found that song, and that song spoke to me. It spoke to me on a different level that a song hadn't spoke to me in a minute. That song spoke to me, and I was like, I need y'all to play this song before I go under. I need y'all to play this song. And the lady was like, yeah, we could do that or whatever. And now I'm thinking, she just bullshit and they ain't gonna play that song. So I'm in there. I looked at my mother. I hugged her and I told her I love her. I looked at my brother. I hugged him and told him that I loved him. I had already hugged my nieces and nephews and everybody. And now one time was I scared. Now one time I felt like I had lived a life. I lived a life. My life, even though shit happened to it was, I accomplished everything I set out to do. So they rolled me back there, and all I hear is, you looking at a miracle. And I said, oh, this about to be good. But before, let me rewind back. Because if you are somebody that's getting ready to have surgery, or you know somebody that's getting ready to have surgery, talk to the surgery team. You want to do that. You want to see who is there. If somebody don't have a good attitude, if somebody is not smiling, if they don't display to you, you don't want them on your surgery team. You don't want them. That was what I wanted to. I said, could you invite the surgery team? They came in there, though. It was laughing and smiling and how are you doing and all of that. I was like, okay, we good. So I went in there. They was like, oh, it's going to take 3 hours, is what she said. Is what she told me. And then after I woke up, it was like 6 hours, and they had to remove pretty much everything. So I had to have a complete hysterectomy. They pretty much removed pretty much everything except for it's really important stuff, like really, really important stuff. Like I couldn't live without it kind of stuff, but everything else, they had to remove it because it was so tangled up in the mass. And so first question I asked when I opened my eyes, they told me I struggled a bit coming back, and that was the second time, because the first time I had a surgery, when I had kidney stones, and they had to have the heat lamps and wrap me in an aluminum blanket and stuff. They was like, we didn't know if we was gonna come back. Oh, I was coming back. This time I was coming back, And I told him after I had this surgery, I'm never having another surgery ever again. It's over. I'm gonna get me some strong, and I'm just gonna be. That's how I'm going out. So y'all, if y'all see me smoking or something, and hey, I don't smoke now, but anyways. So the first question I asked when I opened my eyes is, "Can y'all tell me if I got cancer? I need to know what I need to do." And they was like, "We can't tell you for another 12 days because we had to send it off to get." We can't tell you for another 12 days because we got to send it off to get biopsy, and we had to make sure. And then I was just like, "Well, what?" There's like, "Well, what are you going to do? What's your options? What have you decided?" I said, "I told you I was going to smoke. Smoking. That's what I'm going to do." And it's like, "Oh, you have to be serious about this because this is serious." I said, "Oh, you must don't know me because that's what I'm seriously going to do." So I had a catheter. I had all kinds of stuff. I was just in there. The lady, I had this black lady, and I'm going to tell you, I felt like she was an angel. She definitely had to be an angel. She came in. She said, "Baby, listen, I'm going to tell you." She said, "I need you to get up out this bed, and I need you to get up and start moving." She said, "Because they gonna keep this. They gonna keep these things on you. They gonna keep this as long as they can." She said, "But I've seen people have the surgery you have." And she said, "I've seen the complications that can happen." She said, "I need you to get up and start moving." And I was like, the catheter it irritated the hell out of me. So I got up and I started moving. And like I was there for like 4 days. And then they let me go home. And so I'm at home, and I was gonna go to my house, but I went to my brother's house because I got stairs, and I would have anyways. So I'm at home, and my flesh felt like it was on fire. It was on fire. Now they told me they had to remove lip noise, so I was gonna have some tingling and numbness in my legs. But after they say like 6 or 7 weeks or months, I don't know, 6 or 7 something, it will go away. Never went away, still to this day. So I'm at home and I am burning. When I say I am on fire, I thought I was dying. I thought, I was on my way. I thought it. And then one day I decided to check my chart, and they said, "You are now in surgical menopause." Not only did I just have everything removed on the inside of me, I am now in surgical menopause. Life, I tell you. So I'm over here dealing with all of these things, going through the motions, and I'm still on a journey of healing and self discovery. And the situation about um, the church I grew up in resurfaced. And 10 years ago, one of my friends asked me, she said, "What if you have to speak about it? What if you have to talk about it?" And I told her, "It's so many people that said something. I mean, why do I have to say something?" And then a situation presented itself, and I just said what I had to say. And I felt another layer be removed. And so 2023 came, and I'm like kicking ass and taking names. I'm like, anything I think in my mind that I want to do, I'm doing it. And I'm just like, "Oh, this is dope." Like, you could actually say, "I want to write, I want to do a documentary," and it could actually happen. Like, I was like, "Okay, it's dope." Um, Another close person to me almost loses their life. And I'm just like, I don't know. I've always been big on family. If you know me, like y'all see my nieces and nephews in my videos all the time because I love them. Just to watch them grow from like babies until now, like I love them. And so as it struck a different chord. Like, it's like we be having family members, we be having nieces and nephews, sons and daughters, and we be having people right there where we can reach out and touch them. But it's not until something happens that we just be like, oh my God, I shoulda, coulda, wouldas. So I started telling everybody that I talked to on the phone that I love them. Because, like when you go to funerals and stuff and people be like, well, the last conversation, I want the last thing you hear me say is that I love you. And I wait. Now, my brothers had a really bad habit of like hanging up the phone before saying they love me back, and then they would call me back. But now it'd be like, I love you. And then we say, I love you. And it's not that like, oh, I love you. No, it's like, no, I fucking love you. So the end of 2023, we're supporting my brother through his medical. And then we get to 2024. And my cousin is passed away, and I just thought like this journey of healing and self-discovery it's been a crazy fucking ride. And so I just processing the last 4 years of my life between death, breakup, almost losing my mother, almost losing me, almost losing my brother, losing my cousin is just like a lot. Like I'm just emotionally overwhelmed. And then the lady said something at my cousin's funeral. She said, we are all just one breath away from death. That stuck in me. And so I had caught the flu Christmas. And I caught the flu Christmas, and all the way up until like my cousin's funeral, like I was out. Like when I say out, I couldn't blink. I couldn't listen to music. I would just had to sit in the dark, and it was the worst feeling ever for me. And then when I got better, I said, I'm doing everything I ever wanted to do, right? So I'm kicking ass, taking names. I'm doing everything I thought of. I put all of my energy towards it. Last Saturday, I'm just sitting here, after karaoke, and I'm just kicking it, hanging out, and then something said, it's time for you to go to the church. And I laughed just like I just did right there. I laughed and I said, oh, yeah, I'll go to church. I haven't been to that church. Because in my mind, I was thinking the church, the safe place. I'm going to name the True Church of the Firstborn was a safe place for me. So I was like, oh, yeah, I haven't been there in a minute. I'll go. And then it said, no, we need you to go to the church. And I was like, what church? You mean a cult? I'm having a conversation with myself. I'm not crazy. But I have a conversation with myself, and I said, you mean a cult? And it was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. If I wake up in the morning and I still feel like I'm going to go, I'm going to go. And so I didn't go to sleep. I just was up kicking it. And then I actually went to sleep, and I woke up, and I felt my heart beat a little bit. Like I felt the blood move through my heart, and I felt my heart beat a little bit. And I felt anxious. I felt nervous. I haven't felt that in so long. And so I'm like, okay, I guess I have to go to church. And so I didn't tell anybody that I was going to church, except for my brother, because he was going to be my ride to church. So I go over his house, and I'm like, hey, is you going to church? He's like, yeah, I'm going to church, but I know you're not going. I was like, no, I'm going to go with you. He said, what? He said, no, you joking. I said, no, I have to go there. I have to go. And he was like, no. So then my little brother called, was like, I heard you going to the church. And I was like, don't make a big deal about it. I am going, but I have to go because I've done so much work on myself. They call it shadow work. I've done all of the work, right? And I always told myself, when I got over this situation, that confidence and that courage, I knew it would like reveal itself, right? I'm going to pause right there on the church thing. When I had surgery, right? my voice was raspy and I couldn't I couldn't sing higher. I couldn't do nothing. Like my voice was really raspy and it was getting worse. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And that was a crazy cliffhanger, wasn't it? I won't come back to it. Um, so I'm like, what is going on? So I end up going to see ear, nose, and throat doctor, and they're like, you have polyps on your vocal cords. I'm gonna have to do a video about it because I have the actual video of the before when there was the actual polyp. And so they're like, oh, yeah, we could do surgery. We could just take that right off. And I was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Pump your brakes, Mr. Ear, Nose, and Throat Doctor. I need to get a second opinion because I'm a singer. I was like, are you a singer? He's like, no, but I'm an ear, nose, and throat doctor. And I was like, hey, I need to get a second opinion. And they was like, well, you need to go back to Frederick because there's a doctor there. His name is Dr. Bach. And I was like, wait, what? His name is really Dr. Bach. If you're a music person, you know Bach. His name was really Dr. Bach. So there was a couple of months out before I could go see Dr. Bach. So I went to vocal therapy. So at vocal therapy, she's like, you need to fluctuate your voice. Like, she's like, I hear you, but she's like, there's more behind it, right? I go to a couple of sessions of vocal therapy, and this one day I go to vocal therapy. And she's like, and fluctuate your voice. She's like, there's power on the inside of you. You just got to fluctuate your voice. And I started bawling, like snot bubbles and everything. And she's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I said, I realized, I realized why I stopped talking. I realize why now I'm having difficulties when it comes to singing or creating music or when it comes to even speaking to people. I developed a fear of my own voice because nobody listened to me when I told them what was happening to me. So I felt like, why would people listen to me? She's now crying and we're crying. And I'm just like, but in this very moment, I took off another layer. I said, I needed to come here. I needed to come here to actually find my voice. I needed to come here to actually hear. I hated the sound of my voice. I hated every part of it. I hated it. I told y'all way over there. I come from a family that communicate. I love to talk, but I hated it. But that day, I sat in vocal therapy and I cried and I said, oh, you don't let me get to the place where I hear myself and I love the sound of my voice. Oh, it's on. It's on. So now I have a polyp. I'm going to show y'all the video. I have a polyp on my vocal cord. And so I got a couple of weeks out. So they send me to the vocal therapist out at Frederick. So I'm going to the vocal therapist and she's like, you love music? I was like, yes. I said, I want it to be. One day I will be. One day I'm going to have an opera concert. I will sing beautiful arias and all of that. And she's like, oh, I'm a classically trained. I said, what? My vocal teacher is an opera singer. And my my ear, nose, and throat doctor is Dr. Bach. So my appointment time come, I go to my appointment, y'all. He sick the thing. I don't know why they stick the thing up your nose, because in my mind I'm thinking it's in my throat, so you just gonna stick something in my throat. No, they go up your nose and down to your throat. And so he's like, wait, you said there was a polyp on your vocal cord. I was like, yeah, there was. He was like, well, I don't see anything. So I pulled my phone out and I showed him. He was like, oh my God, what happened? Did you have surgery before you come here? I said, no, sir. I just was there. I had vocal therapy. I realized the magnitude of my voice and why it is important for me to speak. And then I came here and now I don't have it anymore. I bawled again because I said, I'm going to be talking. I'm going to be singing. I'm going to be doing videos. I'm doing everything because I got to that point, another layer off. I got to that point where that confidence and that courage. Now we're going to go back to this church thing. So I hop in the truck with my brother. He like, you really going? I say, yeah, I'm going. I have to. Um, so he pull over, he park. I get out. Now I haven't been in this church in 15, 16 years. Not walked by randomly, nothing. I didn't even go that way to go anywhere. Went all the way around. I go right up to the doors and I get that nervous, anxious feeling. And I was like, shit, I didn't come all this way to turn back. I ain't never turned back. I ain't never been scared. So I was like, I took a deep breath and I walked in. And when I crossed over, I tried to put it into words. I That's all I got for the feeling that I felt. When I say, when I say I lost two people that day, like I felt like an elephant. I don't know what it was, but it felt like everything had fell off of me. I have literally been crying every day since last Sunday. I don't know why I'm whispering right now, but this is not an ASMR. I've literally been crying every day since last Sunday. And it's not sad tears. These are tears because 14-year-old, sorry y'all, 14-year-old me knew that this day was going to happen. I knew, despite every fucking thing I went through in my life, I knew I would get to this day. And when I share with y'all the shit that I've been able to accomplish on this journey of healing and self-discovery, I kept telling myself everything that I want is on the other side of fear. I have to get out of my own way to get that. Do y'all know I started this podcast by naming it Sunday Night Dinner and Convo? I knew I wanted to do a podcast, but I was afraid to do a podcast. I got like 100 episodes. I got all kinds of shit I want to talk about because I feel like people don't talk about it. And I feel like I'm the perfect person to talk about it because I done had all kinds of shit happen to me. And I feel like people just need a safe space where they could talk or hear somebody else talk about the shit that happened to them, so you can know that you are not alone and you can overcome any fucking thing that happened to you in your life. Any fucking thing. Y'all see, I ain't caring about these tears. I ain't caring about this not because I knew I would get here. But I'm telling y'all, it takes you doing the work. When I say, oh yeah, I'm going to just cry, I'm going to, forgive people. In this journey, I learned 3 major things that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. Number 1, the number 1 person you have to forgive is yourself. Once you forgive yourself and stop beating yourself up about the mistakes you made and the shit you should have did and the shit you could have did, once you forgive yourself for that, everything gonna fucking change. Number 2, you gotta tell yourself the truth. You gotta hold yourself accountable and tell yourself the truth. You have to. You have to. You have to. That's how all this shit worked for me because when stuff would come up, I would, I'd be like, no, that's not me. But I started taking accountability for my own life. I never was like, I can't do a podcast because they won't give me the opportunity. Do y'all know that we are living in a digital age and I'm talking to y'all right now on my fucking phone? You can do everything from your phone. Everything. And number 3, You ever, somebody ever asked you, I'll ask you right now, hold on. Do you love yourself? Pretty sure he's like, hell yeah, I love myself. Of course I love myself. When I said I love myself and I thought about all the shit that I do, I thought when I'd be tired and somebody called me and be like, hey, could you take me here? And I'd be like, I'm the greatest friend, so let me get up and go take you. That wasn't love, because I overlooked myself and put somebody else's needs and wants in front of my own. The third thing I realized is that the greatest love of all is the love you have for yourself. When you love yourself, you ain't gonna let nobody disrespect you. I don't care who it is. Y'all heard my disclaimer. I don't tolerate disrespect from anybody. My mother, my brothers, nobody. You, nobody. I don't tolerate disrespect at all, especially not surviving a global fucking pandemic. It's a no for me. It's a no. It's a strong no. It's a hell no. It's a no. Those are my three things. Those are my three things that I learned. And I've been standing on business. As they say, I've been standing on business. I've been speaking up for myself a lot more. I've been not just accepting anything. I learned and understood, and I am setting boundaries. I have set boundaries, and anybody that cross them, I let you know you cross them, and there is repercussions for crossing them. Before, people would say, "Oh," and get away with all kinds of stuff. But listen, I'm about to be 44 years old. You will hear people talk about being in a peaceful state, or you will hear people talk about just being in a state of pure bliss. When I tell y'all, I don't even go outside. I don't even look at the phone. I don't look at the computer. I don't look at nothing. Like, when I say, like, this place that I am in right now, I refuse to go anywhere but this place right here. Do you know how hard I worked to get here? When I exited the church, I felt free. I felt free. I felt calm. I felt peace. I felt relief. I felt tears. I felt my heart. I felt my blood moving through my body. I felt alive. That's the word I've been looking for this entire time. I felt alive. I felt alive. I felt alive. And I've cried every day since. And there's happy tears. And it's like, I knew that one day I will get to this place. And once I do, there is no turning back. That 8-year-old me was like, see, we told you were going to be okay. It's okay. You okay. And I looked at my 8-year-old self and I said, thank you. I'm an adult. I'm 43. But it was my 8-year-old self that was like, we got you. I got you. You good. And I literally walked for my entire life all the way up until now. And so as I prepare to walk into 44, whatever happens, whatever, I am so grateful for this journey of healing and self-discovery. Grateful. I will forever be grateful for it. It's the greatest decision that I've made. One of the greatest decisions. And it's helped me to be more confident when I'm walking into these different rooms. I was telling people, like, for the last 5 years, I've been in rooms with millionaires, multimillionaires, hell, billionaires, like, around them. And at first I was like, but why? And then I started to understand. It was for me to observe understand and take notes. And I was observing, understanding, and taking notes. And you know what I realized about millionaires? They don't give a fuck about you. They're going to say what they need to say and leave it at that. And my entire life didn't care about people's opinions or what they said to me. So I fit right in with them. And so now when I'm going to these tea and coffees, because they going to tea and coffee you to death, I'm telling you. And once you get in the business space, I got more business content coming. But once you get into the business space, they gonna tea and coffee to death. So now when I go for tea and coffee, I ask for what I want. I ask. And I just told somebody, I said, listen, you never know what can happen if you don't ask. I ask. I ask. I have a whole Nurturous Conversations podcast right now because I got out of my own way. I've been saying for years I was going to do a podcast. I've been saying it. I started it with Sunday night dinner and convo. It's always been Nurturing Conversations to me. Always. But I just had the courage to put the name on it. And yeah, that's in, if you decide you want to do a podcast, just do it. Just do it. Did I know everything about podcasting before? I know a little bit because I got another podcast. But I never did video podcasting. So I just hopped off the porch. I mean, you learn as you go. That's where I'm at. I'm learning as I go. And I learn every day a little bit more. And I just said that because I told y'all my journey, because I want you to know, like, you know, we are surviving a global fucking pandemic. We are surviving still presently. They didn't come out and be like, we have made it through COVID. It no longer exists. Like, we are technically still in it, right? So if you haven't decided like to live for you, if you haven't decided to let go of the things you've been carrying around, and I not one time did you hear me say it was easy. It wasn't. But I'm going to tell you what you did hear me say. It started with me. Everything started with me. Everything started with me. It was me that had to let it go. It was me that had to understand. It was me. I'm not telling you to go and hug the people that did you wrong, but what I'm telling you is to let that go. If you are a parent, I don't have any kids, but I'm going to tell you this. You might not think that what you do affects your children, but it does. It does. It indirectly affects them. You might be like, well, I'm over here doing this because I'm a grown adult and I could do, but it indirectly affects them because they see and they know. And people always just discount little kids or discount kids because they're kids, but they are still human beings. I always be telling people, like, our households is where we learn how to treat people outside of our households. So if you cussing at me and you yelling at me and you calling me dumb and stupid every time you open your mouth to talk to me, when I go out those doors, I am now going to call somebody else dumb and stupid, and I'm going to be angry and yelling at them and fighting them because that's all that I know. We are in a time where if you are a parent, you should hug your child every chance that you get. You should tell them how much you love them. Tell them your story. Tell them where the experience of your experiences in life. That's what help us become greater human beings. Tell them that. Don't just look at them and people we know. I don't even have kids, but I can look at somebody and say, something going on, and I'm not going to be all up in your business, but I'm going to ask you, is everything okay? Find you somebody that you could talk to. I know the thing now is everybody worried about being judged, but here, listen, let me tell you something. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how many cars you got, jewelry, how fly you look, how fine you look, how tall you are, how built you are. I don't care about none of that. If somebody want to talk about you, they're going to talk about you. There's nothing you could do about anybody outside of you. You can only do it for you. I told myself I was going to be light, love, and positivity from 2020 up until now, and I didn't even know what that entailed, but I totally get it now. You know how they be like, if you don't have anything good at all, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say nothing at all. The reality of that hit me in 2020. You see things going on, but in my mind, I was like, I'm not going to whisper nothing. I will whisper light, love, and positivity for you. I would ask that the universe, God, Buddha, or Allah, whoever you believe in, I would ask that they will lead and guide you on a path of light, love, and positivity before I whisper anything negative about anything. I will literally sit and be quiet. You see people struggling. People used to ask me all the time, why do you always give to the people that's sitting outside? And I say, because one day I will hope any event that I ever am homeless, I hope that somebody will have compassion on me and they would, look after me. And I was homeless 8 years ago. I was homeless. I was sleeping in cars, at hospitals. When I tell y'all, I have lived a life. Am I grateful for the life? Hell yeah, because I'm about to be 44. Did I wish things didn't turn out the way they did? Hell yeah, but guess what? I'm about to be 44. I'm sitting actually right in front of y'all. I'm talking to y'all. I've learned so much and I'm willing to share what I learned. Not to say, ooh, look at me, but I'm willing to share because there's so many people struggling or going through different things and feeling like they are the only people going through it. They don't have anybody to talk to. I know I'm not the only person that has been molested and felt like, fuck all of this. I was talking to a young person. I was like, I'm not going to say everybody in the world felt like giving up, but a lot of us has felt like giving up. A lot of us. A lot of us, me included. I definitely was like, what is the fucking point of all of this? How do you know that I am like, what is the point of all of this? And then it's like shifting your focus. I stopped focusing on the negative and start focusing on the positive of everything. I could have lost my voice 2 years ago, but I'm still here and I still have a voice and it is actually stronger and better. I am grateful for that. I have been saying since January, I said I have these different content series that I want to release, but I have been holding myself back because I feel like, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that. And I just said, starting tomorrow, I'm just going to press record and I'm going to upload it. That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing. It's just getting out of my own way. Maybe you want to start a YouTube. Maybe you want to start a podcast. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to do something like leave the relationship you are in because it's not beneficial or haven't been beneficial and you know it. You just trying to figure out how to get out of it because you've been in it for so long. Maybe you want to leave that job and start your own business. It's time. We are literally a breath away from death. And I'm not saying that to scare you, but what I am saying is you at any time can leave this earth. Do you want to be filled with regrets on the things that you did not do or I had a plan to do? Let me tell y'all something. You ever have a plan to do something and you like, oh, I'm going to write a book about how to be a YouTuber. And then you don't tell anybody. Or maybe you do tell somebody and then you see somebody have a book to say how to be a YouTuber. Don't that make you feel some kind of way? And I don't mean like angry at the person. I mean, don't it make you feel like, damn, I should have did that. Don't damn, you should have did that. You could still do it. The same way there's like Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, all these different sodas. You can still do it. Still do it. Listen, I got books. I got positive affirmation cards. I got guided meditations, morning, noon, and night meditations. I got sleep meditations. I got workout journals. I got all kinds of stuff that I am releasing from me because it is time for me to not hold on to anything else. I'm just letting it go. Letting it go. I talked to y'all a couple of times like, I don't know if I will ever date again. And I said that because I was in a place, I was like, how the fuck could I get my heart broken? I was doing everything I was supposed to do. I even forsook myself for so long just to make sure that the other person was good and how am I? And I was there. But on this journey of healing and self-discovery, I have learned so much about myself, the love that I have for myself. And I was just like, I feel like maybe I'm, I'm ready for a tea or coffee, maybe art museum. I don't know. I'm ready to go outside. Actually, I'm actually going to go outside in a few minutes because I'm going to go to a concert. Even that, I hadn't been to concerts in I don't know how long, but then I started going to concerts again. I started listening to music. I started writing music again. It was like I was in a 1 decade long creative block, and now it's just like it is gone. It is gone. So I said all of that. I told y'all about my journey of healing and self discovery. And as you are embarking, or maybe you are on, or maybe you are even, contemplating, or if it's something you should do, be truthful with yourself. Hold yourself accountability and hold yourself accountable and love yourself through the process. Love yourself. You got to look out for you in 2024. You got to. Who gonna look out for you? You gotta look out for you. If you're a parent, of course, you gotta look out for your kids, but you gotta make sure that you are good so that your kids will be good. If you haven't healed that thing about your mother or your father, heal that. Go to therapy. I will always and forever tell people to go to therapy. Go to therapy, heal that. Because you don't want your kids. You remember when you was growing up, you was like, oh, I hate my mother. Oh, I don't hate my mother. I love my mother. And she's still here today. She's still here today. We still be kicking and hanging out like best of friends. That's my mother. She cool. But heal that so that your child doesn't have the same experiences as you have. And I know parents will be like, well, I did the best that I could. Actually, you did the bare minimum because you knew that you could have did better. You knew that you could have did better. You just was doing, yeah, long as I get you to 18. But no, if you know you have a child that loves attention, that needs to be hugged, hug them. Because I'm telling y'all this because this is the digital age, and these kids know how to navigate the digital spaces far better than I did far better. And I'm sure if the kids I'm around know how to navigate, and they little, know how to navigate YouTube in a way that I was just looking like, how did you know how to find that? So if these little kids, I can only imagine what your high schoolers, what your middle schoolers, what they going through. It's a time for you to hug because listen, I'm gonna say this. What you won't do, someone else will. And we don't want that someone else to do it. Take it from me as somebody who has had their innocence stolen. You don't want them to do it because it leaves a lot. It leaves a lot here. It leaves a lot here. It's a lot. Love them. Hug them. Tell them how beautiful, how handsome they are. Tell them how much you appreciate them. Talk to them. Ask them how their day was. Ask them. And I'm not just talking about kids. If you have nieces and nephews, talk to them. Understand what is going on with them. Be compassionate. If you see somebody, I haven't really been on YouTube as much, but whenever anybody that has been regular in checking, like being on my YouTube videos, I check on them. Some people not even regular, I just check on them. Anybody I've come in contact, I check on them. I check on everybody. If I got your number, you get texts from me all the time. I'm a communicator. That's what I do. I communicate, whether it be text, Facebook, email, DM, FaceTime, whatever. I'm a communicator. I want to make sure that you are good. When you enter into my space, I'm going to make sure you're good. I want to make sure that we all understand that we are only a breath away. I don't want you to put off that, oh, I'm going to do that next month. I'm going to do that. Oh, I have to get my money up because really all you need is a phone. And I'm sure you got lights in your house. You could just start. I was telling people like, hey, you just start. What kind of content should I do? I don't know. Do what you like doing. Y'all see, I got cooking for therapy, workouts, meditations. I got beat videos. I got all kinds of stuff on my channel. This is what I like to do. And clearly, y'all like it because y'all be coming to hang out. Karaoke on Saturdays. I be doing all kinds of stuff. And I did it. I should say that too. I did it to get more comfortable with public speaking. Like that's what I did it for. And so now I literally am a public speaker. I get paid to speak publicly. That is so dope to me. To go from hating the sound of my voice to like now people saying, "Hey, would you come here and tell us about?" And I'm just looking like, "Wow, I am actually wow. That is so dope to me." That is so dope to me. I actually am looking over agreements for things that's coming up, and I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited. Like, I never would have thought that I would be in this place, but I knew one day I would. That's all I got. I done cried, laughed. We done talked about everything. I hope you walk away with something. Something. If it's nothing more than to love yourself, be truthful with yourself, and be accountable. Y'all gonna hear my ending. I'm about to end it. The other day I was in the kitchen and I was making my juice and I laughed. I cried, laughed. I laughed, cried. I don't know. But I cried because um I say love yourself, know yourself, trust yourself, and just be yourself, right? The other day it was like, oh my God, the light bulbs went off. Was like, oh my God. I've been saying that to myself for the last 4 years. The last 4 years, including this, I've been saying that to myself every day. I'm looking in the camera and I'm looking at myself and I'm saying that every day. I'm telling y'all, light, love, and positivity. When I was in therapy, they told me it takes 17 positive things to counteract negative. So I try to put at least 17 positive things in my videos. 17 positive things in my videos. That's all I got though. Remember that it is important for you to use your words. That is the only way that anyone will ever know what you are feeling or what you are thinking. I will never let a live video, vlog, short, or anything that I present to you go out without me telling you to love. Love yourself. This includes your faults, your fears, your failures. Know yourself. No, you know what is you, you know what is other people's putting on you, you know yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. This includes the hairs that stand up on the back of your neck, the goosebumps you feel, the feeling you get in the pit of your stomach, that loud or that small voice. Trust it because it will not lead you wrong. Trust yourself. And most importantly, just be yourself. Why? Because you need you. I need you. This great big old world needs you to be authentically you. Having said that, you are currently surviving a global pandemic. A global pandemic. And you have been surviving it for 4 years. It is time for you to learn, understand, and set boundaries and send 10 toes down on them and live. If you haven't been paying attention to the news, you most definitely should because there is so many things going on. There's a National Guard being stationed in New York. They're possibly thinking about California. There's something definitely going on. You should be knowledgeable in that. Make sure you get your toiletries, non-perishable food items, water, disinfectants, and some cash money or coins or anything that you deem valuable to the side to make sure that you and your family are okay in the event that something pops off. I needed this conversation tonight, y'all. I did. I feel another layer just peeling off. I'm just, I knew I would get to this point. Having said that, if you are engaging in adult activities, that's these two have nothing to do with each other. But if you are engaging in adult activities, make sure that you wrap it up because that's why you should pay attention to the news. I don't know if y'all saw like last fall, it was a syphilis outbreak, and how, y'all remember the Tuskegee Airmen? Like, how do it just, anyways, the STD rates are rising despite being in the global pandemic for 4 years, and they are rising exponentially. I think that's the right word I want to use in the youth. So if you have kids, children, young adults, nieces, and nephews, talk to them about safety measures. That's all I got. Until next time, thank y'all for hanging out with me. I really hope that y'all got something, from this conversation. Until next time, I love you. Peace.